Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial on simple interest. What is simple interest? Well, this is in reference to a loan or financing means that the interest computed on that loan determines the cost of the loan, and it is applied only on the principal of the loan. The principal is the amount that you originally borrow. In this case, $40,000. It does not, the interest rate does not accrue to or apply to any other interest amounts, only onto the face value of the loan, the principal. So how do we compute this? Okay, if our loan is $40,000 and the bank is going to charge us 10.5%, that 10.5% is annual interest. So we apply that to the face value of the loan. Now remember, 10.5% is 0.0105, not 0.01, 10%, 0.105. Now we have to apply that to the period of time that we've had it. We've had this for more than 1 year. We've had it for 19 months. So let's take a look and see what this would be. Get rid of that X. Just for the year. 40,000 times 10.5% is going to equal, let's just compute this out, $4,200. That's for 12 months. If I divide this by 12, I find out that my monthly interest I was paying is actually $350. $350 a month. I've had this for 19 months. So the total interest I'm paying on this $40,000 is 19 months worth at $350, or a total interest payment of $6,650. That's the interest. My total repayment is going to be for the principal and the interest, or $46,650. And there we have it. Okay, what happens if we don't know some pieces of information? Let's take a look at some examples here. We calculate the principal. If the interest rate is 5%, the time is 90 days of the 365 in a year, and the total interest paid is $8,000. We can go back to our basic formula here. We know how to compute interest, but we don't know what the principal is. In this case, let's set the parameters up. We don't know the principal. That's a big question mark. We know the interest rate is 5%, or 0.05. We know the time period is 90 out of the 365 days. And we know the total dollars that we paid of interest is 8,000. So how do we put this all together in an equation? Well, we can go back to here. We don't know what the principal is. That's a big question mark. So something is going to equal, I'm going to back this up and do it a little differently. We've got 8,000 in interest, and we know that that equals the principal times the interest rate times the number of days we had this. 90 over 365. So going back to solving for unknowns, we have to isolate this p. So let's keep going. Now we know that 8,000 is going to equal, we're just going to simplify a little bit, p times 0.05 times 90 over 365. And that equals 0.01232. I like to take it as far as I can. Whatever my calculator gives me. It'll give me a much more accurate answer. So 0.05 times 90 over 365 is 0.0123287. Now to isolate the p, what I have to do is the opposite function. Since this is a multiplication, I have to divide the left side of this equation by 0.0123287, and which means I have to do the same function on the right side. I'm going to take that 8,000, move it over here because I'm running out of room, and I'm going to divide that by 0.0123287. And since I divided the right side of the equation, that eliminates the 0.01232 and leaves me with p. 8,000 divided by the 0.0123287 is going to equal 648,892.42. That's our principal. If we borrow 648,892.42 at an interest rate of 5%, simple interest rate of 5%, for 90 days, we will end up paying $8,000 in interest. You can test that out by putting this number, your principal, back into the formula just like we did up here. And if you get 8,000, you know you did it right. Test it out and see what you get. I'm sure it'll be right. Okay, let's try another example like that. In this case, we don't know what the interest rate is, but we're going to go about it the same sort of way. Let's write down the information we do know we have and then pop it into a formula. In this case, we have principal is $7,000. We know that. Just make little notes. I find it easier to assemble the information in the end. Principal is $7,000. The interest, we don't know what the interest rate is, but we do know the interest in dollars, the total dollars paid, is going to be $350. And we know that the time that we held this loan was for 220 days of the year, 1 year. Okay, let's pop this into a formula again then. We know that if we take $7,000 and we multiply that times some interest rate, big question mark on that, and we multiply that times the number of days we've held the loan, 220 of 365, then we are going to get an interest payment of $350. All right, so to solve for the unknown, we have to isolate this big question mark here. Well, let's see what we get. We end up with 7,000 times something times 220 over 365, which is the same thing as saying 0.6027897. And all of that's going to equal 350. Now, if I multiply 0.6027897 times 7,000, I'm going to simplify this side even further by finding out this question mark times 421918. That's what happens when I get 7,000 times 0.602. I get 421918. And all of that is going to equal 350. Okay, to isolate this question mark over here, the function being used currently on this side is multiplication. We have to do the opposite. We have to divide this whole side and the right-hand side by 350, therefore eliminating the 0.42 on the left side. That leaves us with a question mark equaling 350. We had to divide this side as well. We have to keep both sides of the equation in balance by 421918. And when that happens, your question mark results in 8.3%. How did I get that? We took that 350 and we divide by 421918, which left me really with 0.083. In order to convert this to a percent, I simply have to move this decimal point over 2 spots and then add the percent sign. So my interest rate in this case is 8.3%. How do I check it? Put it back in here and see if you get 350 as your answer. You will. And that's how you apply simple interest.